What's going on, everyone? What an absolute wild offseason this has been. I want to kind of go over some of the key signings for day one. I'm not going to go over like the Draymond Green back to the Golden State Warriors. I'm not going to talk about Jeremy Grant going back to Portland and like Chris Middleton going back. I want to kind of talk about some of the changes. I also won't be talking about the Lakers acquisitions because I have my Laker channel. So if you're curious about the Lakers acquisitions, go check out that channel. But today was a wild ride, to say the least. And diving right into it, Bruce Brown got a bag. $22.5 million a year to go play with the Indiana Pacers. Look, I like this guy. I think he's very talented, but not $22.5 million a year talented. The Lakers might have had a little bit of that just boost for him. There was a lot of talk, and even Shams reported that he was heading to the Lakers until the Indiana Pacers came in and outbid them. I guess. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's going to be a solid pickup for the Pacers, but he's not a great shooter. He's kind of a guy that he's not similar to Halliburton, but kind of like that guy that could slash, get to the basket, play some defense. I don't know. I think he was greatly overpaid. There were a lot of role guys that were just greatly overpaid today. And even some stars or borderline all-star guys that were greatly overpaid. But Bruce Brown, I think, is just, in my opinion, way overpaid. Him and Halliburton, cool, I guess. But I think that they needed somebody that a little more versatile. Or if you're going to sign him reasonable. Like $15 million a year, I would have been like, sure. But $22.5 million, it's almost double what the Lakers were offering. I mean, it's good for Indiana if it works out, if he ends up playing to that level. But with the new CBA, it's just, why handcuff yourself? Why give yourself that kind of restrictions? I know that they need a perimeter defender. I know he can kind of fill that void, that need. But I just think you have Halliburton. Don't really need Bruce Brown as much. But hey, we'll see. You know, maybe it'll be a solid acquisition if you're a Pacer fan, or even if you're not a Pacer fan. Love to know what you think about this acquisition. But moving on, Fred VanVleet got his bag. 3 years, $130 million with the Houston Rockets. Again, a guy that was greatly overpaid. This guy was nowhere near that value. I get it for Houston. Right, they need a guy, an adult, right? They need somebody that can come in and kind of right the ship for all these youngins. But he's undersized. He's 29. He's a guy that kind of rounds that out, I guess. Can be a distributor, doesn't need the ball too heavily, a guy that can give you 19 points per game, but he's just very inefficient. Very inefficient. Shoots 45% last year from 2-point percentage, 34% from three-point range. He shot just under 40% from the field total at 39.3. I mean, it's not great for a guy that's getting a full max, essentially. And I wonder how much this bites Houston in the butt at some point, because they're going to have to pay their guys. I like Fred VanVleet on that roster, just not at the price tag that they paid to have him on that roster. That, to me, is a little much. But, hey, he's hard-nosed, plays both sides of the ball. I definitely think will help the Rockets. I do. I think he's going to be a real impact to that roster. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. Even with Fred VanVleet, like, they're not going to be a playoff team or anything like that. Fred VanVleet just wanted the bag rather than contention, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what he wanted. Then I'm glad he got it. But I just, $43 million a year is a lot for Fred VanVleet, and I just personally don't think he's worth that. The Raptors ended up replacing him, so at least so far, with Dennis Schroeder. They signed him to 2 years, $26 million, so he's getting $13 million a year. I think Schroeder kind of provides a lot of like what they'll be missing. I think that's kind of like a solid replacement. But I just, man, is he greatly over? There was a lot of guys that were just greatly overpaid. But regardless, hey, credit Fred VanVleet. I'll never be mad at a guy getting a bag, right? He earned it. He got his bag. I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him. Rooting for his success. I just think he's greatly overpaid. But Kyrie, drama, controversy, questions, all that stuff is out the window. Kyrie re-signed with the Dallas Mavericks. He got his money, which is what he wanted. 3 years, $126 million. Mavs didn't play around. There's a lot of questions about would they play around or not. And they signed him to a long-term deal, gave him his money, and now we're going to see. We're going to see if Luka and Kyrie really can round out that roster and get back to playoffs. I mean, they were terrible when they traded for Kyrie. Now, it wasn't Kyrie's fault. Kyrie was great for Dallas. Dallas was actually better with Kyrie on the floor without Luka than with Luka on the floor without Kyrie. So that great pickup for them. They needed him. They had to keep him. And, the allure of where is he going to go? What's going to happen? Is he going to Lakers? Is he going to the Suns? Is he going elsewhere? There's all the reports about he's taking meetings with this team and that team. And Dallas, it was just pressure, right? Put it on Dallas, force Dallas to make a play. And they got him. It worked, right? Dallas didn't play around, gave him the $126 million. And now we're going to see if he really is the sidekick that Dallas needs for Luka to go win an NBA championship. Maybe with the full offseason, full training camp, full preseason, I think it'll be all right. They really need perimeter defenders. The only other guy that they really got that's notable is Seth Curry, which, it's great to have more three-point shooting, but you got to defend. You got to be able to get stops. That was the problem with Dallas. They couldn't defend anybody. They couldn't stop anybody. So how do they sew that up? I don't know. If the roster currently constructed, I don't think is going anywhere personally. Even if Luka and Kyrie work out, I just think there's too many other teams that are better than them that can play defense and still keep up and score. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting with Kyrie Irving on Dallas. We'll see how that goes. Phoenix had themselves a really quiet, productive, solid, just day one, right? Phoenix, they're not going to get a lot of or at least I haven't seen it yet, a lot of praise for their signings, but they got Watanabe on a deal, so he reunites with Kevin Durant, right? So that was a solid pickup in that regard. They also ended up getting a couple other quality pieces that I really like. So they got Metu, they got Eubanks, they got Diop. So some solid perimeter guys that can switch, defend. Right now, their roster currently constructed is Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Okogie, Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton, Cam Payne, Jordan Goodwin, Damian Lee, Diop, Watanabe, Metu, and Eubanks. It's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. That's 13 players, something like that. So they still have a couple roster spots. They could use another quality big. But I mean, hey, they got some real value as vet minimum guys, and they filled that out. They filled that out nicely. They got Eubanks, who he can be their center, backup center, but they could probably use a little more size, right? I know that they're planning on keeping Ayton, but does that still end up what happens, or do they end up trading him? But Phoenix had themselves a nice little, I got to be honest, they had themselves a nice little just quality first day. I still am not completely sold on them. I'm not. We will see, right? How do these three work out, especially with Ayton? Does Ayton have his issues being the fourth option? Is he already has issues and complains about, the lack of touches and stuff. Does that become something? They got some nice perimeter guys, like that. They don't need scorers. They needed guys that can defend, got some size, versatility. I really liked what the Phoenix Suns did with the offseason so far. And we'll see. We'll see how it looks on the court. I don't want to jump to any conclusions with this team. Everyone had them winning the NBA championship when they got Kevin Durant, and I was one of the few people that was like, it's not happening. They're not good enough. They don't have enough depth. They don't have enough talent. they're not going anywhere, and they didn't. But they did round out the roster nicely. And again, I wanna wait before I make a call on this roster. I want to see how do they finish. Do they trade Ayton? If they do trade Ayton, how does that look? Like, what do they get? I want to see how this finishes shaping up. But again, quality offseason so far for Phoenix. Kuz got the bag, staying with the Washington Wizards, which, kind of foreseeable. There were a lot of talks of him maybe going to, like, the Sacramento Kings, but when they re-signed Harrison Barnes, that was kind of, okay, they're probably not bringing in Kuz. He got paid, and now they have him. He gets to kind of be the 1A, 1B with Jordan Poole. Him and Jordan Poole get to flirt with all the baddies and, drop 20 plus a game. Him and Jordan Poole will probably give you 40, 50 a night. And then they got Trae Young, 4 years, $102 million. So, he got paid. Got what? $50 million a year, something crazy like that. Or sorry, $25 million a year, $27 million a year, something crazy like that. Solid pickup. Nothing really to write home about. I'm rooting for Kuz as a guy that helped the Lakers win an NBA championship. I'd love to see him have some success. So we'll see how that goes. And outside of that, no real crazy major changes. Nothing that was groundbreaking, landscape shaping type moves yet, at least, right? What's going to happen with James Harden? Is James Harden going to stay? Is he going to end up getting traded? It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. I'm really curious to see how that goes. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What did you think of day one? Who knows? Maybe more stuff will happen. It's still not over yet. Anything could still happen at any time, but we're kind of towards the end of the day where things start winding down a little bit here. And so just wanted to kind of touch on the big highlight stuff. But love to hear your thoughts and opinions, however you feel, down in the comments below.